Manchester United fans, has the reality set in yet that this bunch of players are about to get away with another horrible season by picking up another trophy? Are you even bothered? Is it all about picking up them trophies and Manchester United just with this one getting into the Champions League with it? Last night's reaction, everything that came from the ground, everyone that I've spoken to as well outside the stadium, you've seen the vlogs from last night, the instant reaction. It was another jubilant Manchester United atmosphere coming out of Old Trafford last night after what was another pretty epic European night of football. Goals galore. To start off the show tonight, check this stat out. Manchester United are 7 goals behind our Premier League goal tally this season. Literally, that is unbelievable. 42 goals we've scored in the Premier League this season, 35 in the Europa League. In half the games. What is it with United and European football? The Europa League has been the shining light, has been the one salvage of this season, one saviour of this season, you could say. And the players just turn up and perform. We didn't for 70 minutes last night. We're going to go through everything that everybody said in terms of players, our reaction about certain players, go through the whole team, and what this actually means. David Ornstein last night was talking about Manchester United's targets, who could possibly believe in Manchester United. I think it was quite clear last night who belongs at this football club going forward and who doesn't. I think one of them nights where we've seen the good and the bad at Manchester United on the pitch, but thankfully the good prevailed and our quality players shone through again. But here's another question for you right now. Are Manchester United just that moment's team again? Are we purely reliant on good players, very good players, pulling us out of the crap all of the time just to get these results in the bag? There is still no rhythm or rhyme or style of play at Manchester United. I want to get your opinions on that in this morning show today. Something a little bit different. We are going to touch on the news, obviously, and what's going around all of the tabloids and everything else. It is just jam-packed with euphoria from last night at the moment. Manchester United fans outside Old Trafford last night getting notifications of their confirmation of their tickets for Bilbao in the final. It is going to be against Spurs. Spurs pulled through. Who is this more important for? Ange Postecoglou or Ruben Amorim and Manchester United? I'm listening to Spurs fans driving home last night and saying, look, they still don't even care. They want Ange out of the door. But beating Manchester United in a final would be the ultimate for Spurs. And then winning the trophy, it is going to be one hell of a final. I think we can safely say that. We'll touch on what we think is going to happen in that. But let's get some thoughts in. Of course, get your live chat rocking and rolling, everybody, as well in there. Let me know what you think on last night's game. Who stood out for you? I think I made my thoughts very, very clear in who I thought was the difference last night, and it came off the bench. It did. And do you know what? I want to start with Ruben Amorim on tonight. He's been getting a lot of stick, been getting a lot of hate from Manchester United fans, the way that he's handled certain players, resting certain players at times, not playing players or overplaying players. You could say that about many players in this team, but Bruno Fernandes with a rest at weekend, I thought played his. It was good last night. Don't get me wrong, but probably his worst game of the last couple of months, having had a rest. I think Bruno just play him through. To be honest, I think he doesn't need a rest. But again, it came down to man management. It came down to Ruben Amorim making the substitutions at the right time. And I think we were all in that first part of that second half sat there in Old Trafford, and we were just sat there going, this could go wrong. This could go drastically wrong for Manchester United here. We were on the brink. Literally, as a boxer, we were on the ropes. Because going into that second half, it was exactly the same scenario as it was against Lyon. 2 goals up, cruising. It wasn't so much cruising against Bilbao, though. You had that sort of that trepidation and that worry in your mind as a Manchester United fan over what might happen in this game. Are we going to blow it again against a poor Bilbao side? I think I tweeted out at half-time, I just said, thank God we've got that 3-goal lead, because that was literally all that was holding Manchester United up at that point. It was a case of we weren't getting anything. Until Mount had that shot, that was Man United's first shot on target in the game. And the panic was there. The worry and the concern and the atmosphere in Old Trafford was there. You could feel it. The nervousness around Manchester United, the nervousness in the team. But when you have got the quality of player like a Mount, a Shaw and an Ahmad to come off the bench, and that triple change that Ruben Amorim made at the crucial stage of the game was just like sending on another boxer into the ring to do a 2-on-1 situation against Bilbao. That was it. It was night-night. as soon as Ahmad stepped foot onto that pitch last night, it was just everything changed. The whole momentum, the atmosphere in Old Trafford, all of a sudden the expectations went up. And that's because Manchester United had a player on there that we all know is just on a different planet. I think my title from last night's vlog was Ahmad is just levels above. He is. That's the benchmark. Amad Diallo there. Ahmad is the player that Manchester United need to be matching up when they're buying players in the summer. That's what you need to be at if you're going to be a Man United player, because the difference that he made and Mason Mount when they came on that pitch last night, that just put Bilbao on the back foot. And Ruben Amorim was just waiting. It was like, go on, here's your chance. And the good thing about this was he gave them players like Rasmus Højlund, like Alejandro Garnacho, the chance to prove themselves and show that they can get this job done. And they were incapable. Look, Rasmus got his goal put on a plate by Ahmad. Man, he nearly missed that. But look, Ahmad, in what he did, I think proves exactly where Manchester United need, where they've been going wrong. Because, again, how can it be so different? Like, this was Ahmad who Erik ten Hag was going to sell, who didn't think he was good enough for Manchester United. We'd have lost Ahmad if Ruben Amorim didn't come in. That's the scary part. Manchester United turned down a £30 million bid for Ahmad from a top European club in the summer. We did not know what kind of season Ahmad was going to have going into this season. He started off well, and obviously off the back end of a positive end to last season for him, I think everybody was looking at that and going, look, we've got a little bit of something here. Then 30 million in the summer. Can you imagine if Man United had took that? Can you imagine if we'd have accepted 30 million for Ahmad out of sheer desperation, how poorly this football club is run? And now look at us. Now look where we're at. He is literally a £100 million player. Now that's what Ahmad's value is. If anybody was coming in for him, he's been back, he's had a few substitute appearances right now. He's already got a goal and an assist, and he's causing absolute chaos. And that was the difference last night. Amad Diallo. I don't like being called Diallo, I'll have to forget that. It's Ahmad. Him, Mount, Shaw, not as much, obviously, but a little bit of experience to come on off the bench. Like we've said before, this could be vital going into the latter stages of Europe with Luke Shaw still being around. But Mason Mount last night, people talk to me about Mason Mount as well. Let's get into some of the comments early doors on this, and let's get this conversation rolling, everybody. We will touch on news which is floating around as well. Towards the back end of the show, but I want to get this all about the Manchester United performance last night, the team, and where we go from here, and what this Europa League is going to do. Is it proving that Manchester United aren't good enough, and there are bits of our team that can actually prevail, can actually get somewhere, and actually prove that they are good enough to be Manchester United players, and parts of that team that just cannot cut it? And there were moments in that game last night where I think it was very clear who was good enough and who could handle the pressure in the big occasion. Ant says, controversial but going Euro man of the match. That wasn't controversial, Ant. I think every single Manchester United fan in Old Trafford was in awe and was blown away by Lenny Yorrell's maturity and his performance last night. He was absolutely phenomenal. He was. And I'm not over-egging that either. The composure that he showed while the Chuckle brothers were flapping around and struggling on the big occasion, it's experience and composure beyond his years. 19 years old, brought in for that fee, and everybody said we overpaid for Lenny Yorrell. I said, just wait it out. Maybe 115 grand a week wages in 5 years' time when he's still on this contract will look really cheap. And if he does warrant earning more past that point, it's because he's done well. Lenny Yorrell could turn out to be one of Manchester United's greatest ever signings. That's how good a player this kid is. He's beefed up, he's quick, and the way that he is driving forward with the ball. And Kaz was saying last night, in looking into Lenny Yorrell's history, he used to be a winger, and you can just see that in the way he carries the ball. The way he reads the game, though, and his body shape and his positioning, you can see that he's going to be the next Rio Ferdinand. Honestly, last night, watching him maraud forward with that ball, it just reminded me of Rio Ferdinand back in the days for Manchester United. It was a joy to see, and honestly, I just love the fact that we did go all out and make sure that we got Lenny Yorrell. And credit to Manchester United last summer for actually going out and putting that money down and making a statement. And now you're hearing comments like Lenny, oh, thank God that I signed for Manchester United. Thank God I'm part of this team. And in his first season into a major European final, yes, it's not the Champions League, but we can build off that. And to be playing in the Champions League next season, if we do win that Europa League final, and being part of that should be what makes these players. It should be the turning point for players like Lenny Yoro in his career. This is why. These nights at Old Trafford, this is why you come to Manchester United. It just had that feeling last night that, yes, thank God we've got the 3-goal lead, but in the end, you always knew Manchester United were going to win it. And you could just see the confidence ooze through this team as these players came on the pitch. And it was the substitutes that made the difference. But we're not ignoring that Lenny Yoro performance last night. Let's not forget what this kid did this season for United. The importance of that goal in Lyon. Him on the floor, putting his head on the line, a la Nemanja Vidic. And that performance last night. Real Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic in 2 different home European ties in the knockout stage of the Europa League from Lenny Yoro for Manchester United. What a player this kid is going to be. And just let it sink in a bit. He's got another 5 years to run on his current deal. And he's 19. Just let that sink in. And you've got De Ligt, Leacher and Heaven to come back into that defence yet. And Mazraoui to come back into that defence yet. About to sign Godwill Kakonki onto a new contract as well. We're looking good. We're looking good at the back at Manchester United. We have got some serious players there. And probably the most confident I've been in a Manchester United defence in years. This is the first summer I'm going into as a United fan where I'm not overly worried about what happens in the transfer window with centre-backs for the first time. And we are literally losing 2 of them and we're not bothered. We're just not bothered at all. Well, yeah, Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire back to their usual tricks last night for me. Very, very uncertain. Maguire made some important headers late on and shown his strength, but was definitely at fault for that goal. Really was. Rawls with a super chat. Where do you have Ahmad playing next season? I have him at right wing back. United have a lot of options at 10. Ahmad has been great as a wing back and impacts the game impacts the game from there still. Look, he scored his goal at wing back against Brentford at weekend. His impact at 10 last night was frightening. This is how you know that you've got a player with footballing IQ on them levels that I just said and mentioned, because he just slots into right wing back like he did against Brentford off the bench and impacts the game. He goes in at number 10, he knows exactly what he's doing. To have a player like that at that age, who has just again signed another 5/6 year contract at Manchester United. Lenny Yoro and Ahmad for another half a decade. Oh, yes, please. That is future planning. But first team players at that age, at that quality, that's something that United haven't been able to get excited about for a very, very long time. But Ahmad at right wing back, Ahmad at 10. You can play him where you want on that side. I loved the Dorgu and Ahmad combination last night. He gave Dorgu a new lease of life. Patrick Dorgu's better on the right than he is the left. Again, what is it with that left-hand side for United? Maybe United don't go out and buy a right wing back and we've got Ahmad and Dorgu to play it out, maybe. Because I'm looking at Harry and Mas coming through and a new contract for him being discussed, like Romano said, coming in and covering for maybe the likes of Diego Leon, who's arriving this summer. So you could have Dorgu on the right, you could have Leon on the left, you've got Dalot to cover both sides as well. Mazraoui's another centre-back. Ahmad can play on the right. You've got Amas there, obviously, who can cover the left-hand side like Dalot could as well. Maybe don't go out and spend. Mantato's just signed a new contract. He plays on the right wing-back. Don't go out and sign a wing-back. I think Dorgu last night on the right, alongside Ahmad, them two were frightening. The overlaps, the energy, just the energy alone from them two and the directness. That right-hand side was... They absolutely obliterated Bilbao's left-hand side. They didn't know which way to turn. Everything changed when Ahmad came on the pitch. And Dorgu fed off Ahmad's energy. Completely fed off his energy. It was brilliant. And maybe Dorgu is the better option at right wing-back. It's crazy, isn't it? We just cannot seem to settle in on a left wing-back at the moment at Manchester United. But look, the options are more than there for Manchester United. MB, how you doing? You've got to be positive this morning. Let's see what he says. Amorim, at first, could it be given the benefit of the doubt to not knowing the players? But I'm sorry, recently he's been getting the starting lineups wrong, both in balance and in interpretation of the opponents. Is that supposed to say? Come on, mate. Try and cheer up a little bit. We're in the final after just smashing Bilbao 7-1. You can pick up on them bad bits, but that's what you judge them on next season. And you'll probably be right in doing that, mate. You will. Because the Premier League becomes paramount next season for Manchester United. Because we're not going to win the Champions League. If we do get in, that is still one more game to play. I have to keep on reminding myself about that. But still, when you look at next season and you look at what the Champions League brings, if we do get in it, it is just strengthening the side to compete in the Premier League. That's got to be paramount and that's got to be everything. It really does. Ruben on the plaster. So, have you seen the pictures going around social media? Ruben entered Old Trafford. There's a picture of him entering Old Trafford. The Hawkeyes have been out again on social media. And there's a picture of him arriving at Old Trafford. And then there's a picture of him afterwards with a plaster across his knuckles. I'm just like, right, okay. What happened in there? I seen that and I thought, you know what? He's gone in at half time and he's probably gripped a few of them players by the throat and given what for. And this is the importance of last night. In the pressure situation that there were players crumbling last night, and it's not on. It's not good enough. And just to have a manager in there who's willing to smash TVs, throw up chairs, throw cups of teas, just bring back the Fergie days where these players know. But let's be honest though, even with that, even if Ruben did lose his shit in the changing room, which is great because we were all doing it in the stands, United came out in the second half and were even worse, which again tells you exactly why Ruben went and got right substitutions. Everybody, and this is how it worked out. Second half started, pure dominance. We couldn't get out of our own third, let alone our own half. And everybody's looking around like bricking it. And that's everyone who came outside and spoke to me afterwards, they were shitting themselves about what was going to go. We thought we were going to bottle it. It just looked that way. United couldn't string two passes together. It's like Ruben had gone mental at them at half time. They'd gone out and were just as bad, if not worse. And he went, right, that's it. Bang. And you've seen him, he stormed down off his bench, ran right out into his technical area to summon in the substitutes warming up in the corner flag near the Stretford end. And literally, it just like this sort of action come over. And you know, you can tell by somebody's body language. It's just the way he stormed down the steps, ran up to the side of the pitch, and was just like, that's it. That's it. Time to make the hooks. Time to start pulling people out. I think Mazraoui was brought off through, a tactical switch, or maybe just not being able to play a full 90 minutes. Obviously, there was something after the last game against Lyon, where obviously then he was rested out by Ruben Amorim, and I think it was just a case of like not playing Mazraoui last week against Brentford, and then obviously again like the Bilbao game, the first game, like running on the red. I think he was definitely redlined. I think he's just having to nurse these players through the latter stages. But I think Mazraoui was brought off simply because he was, I think, just being nursed through it, like I said, and was out of energy, and maybe even carrying a knock. I don't know. But then, obviously, we're looking at the other substitutions. Manuel Ugarte struggled. Garnacho struggled. Rasmus is staying on the pitch because there's nobody else available. That is the only reason he's staying on the pitch. And he's lucky. He's very lucky at the moment, Rasmus Højlund. But I'm looking at a couple of games now in the last 4 or 5 games. Rasmus has contributed in Bilbao away from home. He played well there. He scored last night. Honestly, everything else in his game, though, I'm really worrying. Like, the 2 goals he scored, I mean, credit to him, both in the 6-yard box against Bournemouth and against Bilbao last night, where he should be. So positionally, maybe he's getting a little bit better. All I'm thinking of, honestly, with Rasmus Højlund, and I don't want to sound like the negative Nancy when United have just booked themselves into a final with a smashing 7-1 win. But the only thing Rasmus Højlund's doing for me right now is adding value to his price tag. That is it. Sorry, everybody. Just got to plug something in. There we go. Sorry to interrupt my flow there. But yeah, that's how I look at Rasmus Højlund right now. Some comments from Ruben Amorim last night as well. In this moment, I am just worried about the next game, trying not to get injuries for the final. We need to win it. If we don't win it, it means nothing for us. Celebrate tonight, celebrate last night, celebrate this morning, but it ultimately means jack. if United fail in the final. If we do fall to Spurs, then it's all for nothing. And I think he's right in saying that. He really is. Weak mentality in some players that give Ruben time. Talk to me about Manchester United's forward line. Let's get the negative stuff out of the way, because the positive is Ruben recognises the situation. Manchester United's top targets, according to Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, is a number 9 and a number 10. And last night, Rasmus Højlund and Alejandro Garnacho proved exactly why Manchester United are looking for them two positions alone. Rasmus Højlund, I don't know. I just said it then. These goals and these moments coming in are working on his stats and making him look better than what he is, and maybe it's adding value to his price tag. I just don't see him as a Manchester United striker going forward. Like a player can change and a player can get better, obviously, in time. We haven't got that time. We need another 9, and he's going to take Rasmus's place next season. I think it's quite clear. And then you're looking at Garnacho. That moment there, you put that chance away, and the game's over. The stress, the drama, everything that a big team would do in that moment, in just killing everything off, would have just settled everybody down. Yeah, you don't get them mad moments at the end like we've had in the last couple of games at Old Trafford against Lyon and against Bilbao last night, and you don't get the excitement and euphoria. But would it not just be nice to actually be comfortable in a game and actually boss the game out? Them are the moments when Garnacho's running through clean on goal, and he's done it all season. He's missed chance after chance after chance. And we all know his conversion rate is absolutely appalling. His work rate is phenomenal. And I praised him. Yesterday. You all heard me talking before the game. I'm happy with Garnacho's attitude. I think he is a plus point for Ruben Amorim and what he's got into. But again, yes, people say hard work outweighs quality, and that old line, what it was. But I'm not being funny. Like, quality is going to make the difference here. This team... And Xavi said it yesterday. This team are working hard for Ruben Amorim, and that's the most important thing. They are. They're playing for him. But Ruben Amorim has to be the one that makes that decision at the end of the season. Thank you for getting us into the Champions League. You have done well. But this is where previous managers before have completely fallen flat on their face with Manchester United. And this is where it's gone wrong. Thank you for that moment and turning up on the big stage. But that isn't going to cover all of your inadequacies that you've proved and shown throughout the season. That lack of quality that has been there for a full season. I just said it then. How can this team turn up and score 35 goals in the Europa League in 16 games and have a full Premier League season and only score 42 goals? 7-goal difference from the Europa League to the Premier League. That's not good enough. Everything that this is, winning the trophy, well done. This is all it is now, and all you can see is a trophy in the cabinet and money from Manchester United in the Champions League to go and spend on making our Premier League team better than 15th in the table. It's still embarrassing. And that 15th in the table will be there if United don't win that Europa League final. We're still going to be looked at as the Man United team with their worst ever season. The Lyon moments, Maguire, Mainu, smashing Bilbao 4-1, 35 goals, 2 more goals than we are the record holders for the amount of goals scored in a Europa League campaign. Nothing. No one cares because you didn't lift the trophy and you're 15th in the league, completely out of Europe. That's what Ruben's talking about there, I think. It counts for absolutely nothing if United don't win the final. Simple as that. And that, I think, is how you need to look at it. And there are players at Manchester United that are just simply not good enough. They belong on the bench or they're sold. Manchester United need 4 first-team starting 11 players this summer. And that, I think, is where I think that's where the difference is going to be made in the Premier League next season. The reports last night, in terms of quality, I think I said it to Saeed last night. Running through on goal there, a dog who had 2 players to pass it to. He played it through, brilliant ball to Garnacho. Can you imagine a Gyökeres and a Cunha in the positions of Højlund and Garnacho? Now, last night, TalkSport came out and said Victor Gyökeres would prioritise a move to join Arsenal over Manchester United this summer. We know that Gyökeres' preference is Champions League football. Will that change if Man United get in the if you get into the Champions League? Yes, it will. So any reports of certain other clubs, now we heard yesterday as well from Ben Jacobs saying that Matheus Cunha had actually had a conversation with Andrea Berta, the sporting director at Arsenal, as a possible target. Obviously, he knew him at Atletico Madrid, was the one that sold him on to Wolves from Atletico Madrid, and blah, 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 blah. That's all been done, but still, there is nothing there in terms of Cunha going to Arsenal. It's just a conversation has happened. Everything is calm. Ornstein said there isn't much that can happen. The release clause isn't triggered until the last game of the season, so United cannot officially buy Cunha. They're just working away on the personal terms with Matheus Cunha, and it will get done in time when you can make the transfer happen. There's only so much you can do when the window's not open, is what Ornstein is saying anyway. So with Manchester United and that right now, I think last night again showed us exactly where United need to be investing. And I think now, we got 2 weeks now to wait it out until the final. Less than 2 weeks till the final, in fact. Wednesday the 21st. And what is that now? So we're looking at, 12 days, is it? God, cannot wait. I just want to fast forward these two Premier League games, West Ham and Chelsea now, get them out of the way, and just end this season in the Premier League, and then maybe look forward to rebuilding it into next season. But right, let's get into some of the comments. Please do get your comments in now. Pick out your players. Pick out who you thought was standout last night, who is clearly there that needs replacing. Let's just randomly scroll up. Mr. Dacia Sandero. It's hardly surprising that Maguire didn't look assured last night. Playing next to Lindelof, how that player has been at United for as long as he has is baffling to me. Gehan says, Maguire made an awful mistake, but overall this season he's done okay. We need to let him go in the summer though. We have to keep building with, so we can challenge Liverpool and Arsenal. MB says, in my opinion, Bruno proved Amorim and some of us right yesterday. He's not a cam and plays better either up front or in the number 8. The key question still remains: is he good enough to not get Ederson in at number 8? Look, Ederson's going to come into Manchester United, I think, if we get the Champions League, and Bruno will be one of them options as a 10, and that's where he'll be played. It's disciplining Bruno Fernandes. When he plays in a 10, he sort of roams everywhere, and he helps out the midfield as well. Let's be honest, last night, I think he probably felt like he had to. Well, as soon as Bruno lines up next to Casemiro, Manchester United look completely different. He does suit that 8 role so much better. Dorgu has been much better with Bruno and Ahmad to work together with. Dorgu's just not working with Garnacho. That's a good point. Him and Garnacho, he put it on a plate for Garnacho. He should have had an assist last night, Dorgu. Hit and miss, I would say, Dorgu's performance last night. That's how I would describe it. Good moments, bad moments. Definitely better on the right. Definitely better when Ahmad came on the pitch. And when you've got quality around you, obviously your game goes up. And I think Dorgu just needs to be playing with better players. I think that's what it needs. Cheers everybody for the super chats that have come in as well. If you have given the video a like already, thank you very much. If you're happy and United are in a final, pop a like on the video, everyone. We've got a poll running right now as well. Europa League final, confident? Yes or no? 74% of you are confident. Man, I listened to Ange Postecoglou's press conference last night. That guy is, he is on edge. I think he's a man that knows no matter what happens in that final, his job is he's gone. It really is. We have to beat Spurs in the final. Surely we're not going to lose a 4th straight game in one season to Spurs. Can you imagine Manchester United not beating Spurs in 4 attempts in the season, and in the last game of the season when it all mattered, they beat us again to ruin everything that we'd done? Unbeaten in 16 games in Europe. And then the last game is against an English team and they end up beating us. Honestly, that would just end me. It really would. I couldn't handle it. We need Ederson and more. Garnacho can't play 10 nor wing back. We need players that can play the roles. Garnacho is a great impact sub. And I hope we do get Champions League so we can keep Garnacho and put him on the bench. If he doesn't like that, then that's up to him and he'll make the decision. He said he's happy at United. He needs to realise that he's at United and next season we are planning on being competitive again and he's not going to be able to play every single game. That's it. That's what Garnacho is right now for me. Ahmad is the only player in our squad besides Bruno that is deserving of wearing the badge. Euro as well, I think, mates. Leon, mate. Leon just reminded me there, actually, as well. This weekend, obviously, Premier League is back. So Match Bingo is back, everybody, as well. Please do make sure that you download the app in the link in the description. Some of the mods will drop it into the live chat as well for you there. I'll scan the QR code. This weekend against West Ham, we're looking to give out a prize pot of around about 350 quid to another FUTV subscriber or member on Match Bingo. Bring in the bingo card to the match day. It's simple. Download the app, click on Manchester United vs West Ham and get your cards. £2 a card. Get 5 match events in a row and win another 5 in a row, win again. If you get the jackpot, you could be earning up to nearly 300 quid for just playing a little bit of bingo while watching United versus West Ham. We have handed out well over 500 quid to FUTV subscribers already just in April alone. Let's finish the season strong, everybody. Get on to Match Bingo. Download the app now. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description, everybody. Match events and the 15 on your card are anything from throw-ins to goals to hitting the crossbar, substitutes in a certain minute. Anything that can happen on a match day is on your Match Bingo card. £2 a card. You have to be a UK resident to participate and obviously over 18. If you do, as a new customer, download the app, deposit £5, you get another £10 on your account instantly. So please do, and thank you again to Match Bingo, our match day sponsors. Let's just try and excite that, or make that West Ham game a little bit more exciting, because it seems like with the Premier League right now, and I just mentioned it a moment ago, that the Premier League is just dying off simply because the Europa League has taken preference, and all anybody's worried about or bothered about right now is the Europa League. And it's true. It is true. And I think West Ham this weekend, who are you playing? Are we going into that game with a team of players that could possibly play in the final and then maybe rest the rest of the team against Chelsea on the Friday? How do you want to play it? I think he's going to rest. With what Ruben just said there, and we just heard the quote, he's scared now for the final. He's already thinking about the final. So he's got 2 Premier League games, West Ham and Chelsea, Sunday and Friday, to handle before that final. I think he's going to be resting everybody. I think we're going to see more debuts. Chelsea are fighting for top 4. Honestly, and this is where United fans, we get stuck in this season. We're going to be frustrated on Sunday because United haven't played well after the Lord Mayor show again. And it will be the same against Chelsea. Chelsea fighting for the Champions League. The Europa Conference League, and winning that isn't going to get them Champions League football. They have to finish top 5. And Chelsea will beat us. I think we might actually get a result against West Ham this weekend. It would just be nice to back up a European night with a Premier League win. Please, just this weekend alone, West Ham, we can surely beat them at Old Trafford. Their record there is crap. Their season is over. And again, though, this is the worry and the concern right now, though, isn't it? Because we're sort of looking at these games and saying that they're not important. And we're just going to end up just resting it out. I think the players' mentality is going to be an interesting one as well to watch. Like, how much effort are they going to put in worrying that they could get injured again? Now, we're hearing as well that Matthias de Ligt will not feature against West Ham, but it's going to be a day-by-day assessment for him after the weekend. So on Monday, he will be back doing his work and recovery work, and United will assess him. We've got well over a week to get Matthias de Ligt back in Manchester United's side for that final. And I think he deserves to be in that final. I think he's been an absolute monster at the back. I would love it to be Maguire, de Ligt and Euro in that final against Spurs. I think that is the deserved back three for Manchester United's season. I would love it if Dalot got back in time. It does look like, by the way, Dalot is going to be fit for the final. So that's another positive for Manchester United. We could have Dalot on the right-hand side. We could have Dorgu on the left-hand side. Although, right now, I wouldn't be... which side? It's Kulusevski. I would rather have probably Dalot on Kulusevski, actually. I would play Dalot wherever the strongest winger is and put Dorgu on the opposite side, because Dorgu can play both, Dalot can play both. I think we need to look at what Spurs' threat is. Obviously, with no Maddison in that side either, I think United should be looking at that even in more confident mode going into that game and saying, look, without him, surely we can handle what Spurs have got. yes, wide players are dangerous for them, but I think with Dalot coming back, De Ligt coming back, obviously Ahmad will be fully fit. Ahmad just needs to start playing football. I mean, are you scared about playing anybody right now? Would you play Ahmad in the next 2 games? That's the question I want to ask the chat. One more game. Come on, people. We're nearly there, says Furious Maths. One more game. Yes, indeed. Atro says, the footballing gods have to keep Mount fit, at least until after the final. If he breaks down afterwards, I will let it slide. Peter says, do you think we should stick with that team start so we can go a strong bench for the final and would swap Lindelof for Heaven? No. Mount and Ahmad and Højlund have to be the front line for me. Garnacho sits on the bench. I would play Bruno alongside Casemiro against Spurs, and Dalot and Dorgu wide, and the back three that I said: De Ligt, Yoro, Maguire. And that, I think, is Manchester United's lineup. I think that's how we should start the game, and I think we win. I think we win that game with that team out. Who would you play in your front three for the final, everybody? Get into that, please, as well. Joe says, in the final, we should start the 11 that finished the game last night. Near enough where I was at, except for Lindelof. He can come off. Did Lindelof come off as a sub last night? I can't even remember. I don't think he did I? I got lost in all of the craziness that it was. Dalot, okay, if he suppresses his bozo gene for 90 minutes... Dalot will be chomping at the bit to get back for that final. Go strong versus West Ham within reason. Tomo in Thailand says, leave Ahmad on the bench, please. Is that for the games in the Premier League and play him in the final? Ahmad's mins need to be managed to keep him fit. He looks injury prone. We cannot just keep thinking like we can just not play a player though. Surely Ahmad needs to play games. Like injury-prone players like scared of playing them, and this is what I fear with Ruben Amorim right now. And I think he just wants to have them players available for the final. So I don't think he is going to play a strong side against Chelsea or West Ham. I think he's just going to give the players certain amounts of minutes. Again, I don't see Mount getting loads of game time. I don't see Ahmad getting loads of game time. I think he wants both of them players available for the final. The impact that Mount and Ahmad had off the bench was there for everybody to see. Can they have the same impact from starting the game? That's a question. But still, I would rather have them, because the final can get away from you very, very quickly. The nervousness that can creep in. If we're having to chase a game in the final, I'm not as confident at all. It's a one-off game. You haven't got the 2 legs. And this is it. So you're playing your team that you know is going to win the game from the start. Surely you have to. Otherwise, you're just always going to be chasing it. Spurs will get us on the break. They've got that pace to hurt us on the break. It's not going to be like Bilbao, who were toothless up front. It's going to be dangerous for us. So I'm going to win the game and win the game in the first half. Get the job done. And that's how I see it. No more injuries, please, says Babs. I'll be at Villa game to say cheerio for the final. The final was before the Villa game. Babs, it played the Wednesday before. So this has been a question that people have been asking me, actually, about how strong United go in certain games. Look, the Europa League final is before the last game of the season. It's in between Chelsea and Aston Villa, our last 2 league games. So it's on the Wednesday. So the last game of the season is Villa at home. United fly out that night on tour. So the Europa League 21st, and then the following weekend is Villa at home. Chelsea's on the Friday night the weekend before, so it's a bit of a jam-packed one. United and Spurs both playing on the Friday night as well before the Europa League final. So it's weird that it's on a Wednesday night, but I think I'm pretty certain the FA Cup final is also before the end of the season as well, which is a strange one. But yeah, that's how it is. Jam-packing these games in, I think it's pretty much because of the Club World Cup. I think that's why these games are being played all squeezed into the last week of the season, to be honest. Of course, keep Ahmad safe for the final. Bring him on for 15 minutes in the league games. See what else we've got. Ahmad's energy in at the field changes everything. It does. Andrew says, I'm playing Bruno as a ghost striker, just like the cup final versus City with Mount and Ahmad in behind. I would play Bruno all day long ahead of Rasmus Højlund. I really would. I think even he understands the role of a striker more than what Rasmus Højlund does. And it's not even his natural position, but that's the difference. It is. Don't forget to give the video a like as well, everybody. If you're loving the content, you're a happy red this morning. Buzzing for work? I think so. I think work on a Friday after a semi-final victory like that last night, everybody can handle that, can't they? Going into a nice warm weekend this weekend. Weather looks good. So, yeah, things are definitely a lot more positive than, well, not last weekend. Last weekend against Brentford, it's like them games in between, they just turn into absolute nothing, don't they? It's like, I just wish that we didn't have any Premier League games to play. Lots of people having lots of conversations in there as well. I wouldn't be opposed to Ahmad starting over Lindelof. Veronica says, do you think Chelsea will play a weaker team against us because they are also in the final? Nope. The Champions League is paramount for Chelsea. They need to get top 5, so they have to play a strong side against Manchester United on the Friday night. They're not really I don't think Chelsea are bothered. If they don't win the Conference League trophy, I don't think they're that bothered. If you ask Chelsea fans, if you asked anyone at Chelsea, what was more important, qualifying for the Champions League or picking up the Europa Conference League trophy? It's the Champions League all day long. So their final is basically against Manchester United on the Friday. They just need to secure Champions League. That's it. They're not bothered about picking up the Europa League Conference trophy. I mean, who is? It's poxy competition, which isn't built for teams like Chelsea, Man United, or anyone, even Spurs. And that's saying something. So far, this Europa League campaign has been inspiring. I'm looking forward to what Amorim's offering. I bet he cannot wait to get this season done. Hopefully get the Europa League in the bag. And then, obviously, we can start looking ahead and looking forward to what's to come as well. My worry is that the team are built to do well in European leagues, and that's why they struggle in the Prem. I would be confident against another European club, but against a British club, I'm nervous. I mean, Kaz said that last night as well. We just don't seem to be able to beat Premier League teams. And all of a sudden, 16 games unbeaten, 35 goals scored. We come up against a British team and we struggle. I think that's what everybody is thinking and worrying about going into this final now. You just don't know what you're going to get from Spurs or Manchester United this season. Key players for the final: De Ligt, Yoro, Bruno, Ahmad and Mount. Garnacho must not start. It has to be Mount, Ahmad and Rasmus. Casemiro and Bruno behind them. Dorgu and Dalot as the wing-backs. I agree with that team. I think that's pretty much what I said as well, Mr. Dacia Sandero. Let's just see now. Hey, winners, ask yourself this. Have you liked the video, says Stu. I'm not sure if they have, Stu. They need to, though, because they're all happy. Trophies is what you play football for, Adam. Never, ever disrespect any European competition. It's history. Well, Conference League has got nothing to do with history, mate. It's only just been brought in as another way of making money for UEFA. So I am going to disrespect it because it was brought in and there is no history to that trophy, mate. The Europa League and Champions League, yes, you've got an argument. I'm not disrespecting anything at all. I'm just saying that the Conference League has never been there before. Not in the history of European football. And I don't think there is any place for it. The Europa League is enough, I think. And to be honest, to win it, to get into the Europa League, you don't get that much money for it either. It's another way for UEFA to make more money, I think, to fund the Champions League. That's what I think. 100% agreed. Playing Spurs, I'm not confident at all. Any other European side, I would be confident. The register opens again before the final and also to its continental refs, so it won't be an EPL game. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, the bonus we've got is we've played at that stadium. We've done well at that stadium before. Obviously, we got the win against Bilbao already. So that, I think, is a positive for Manchester United, being there and doing it already. And I think Spurs, we owed them. Like, a lot of averages would say you'd at least get one win against Spurs through a season if you played them 4 times, surely. Confidence level in the poll, though, is still very high. 73% of you are confident United will win the Europa League final. I'm going with that. I am edging towards beating Spurs more. I'm worried, like everybody said. Very, very worried. But I just look at it and go, United surely are going to beat Spurs one time this season, and in the most important one as well. And United's record in finals, we are a team that turn up when it comes to the big occasion. We know that we can compete, and I think Manchester United will definitely be. I think we'll be favourites over Spurs. Anyway, who do you think is favourites for that game? I mean, I've not even looked at the bookies yet or anything like that. It's too soon, but who do you actually think is favourite to win that final? You've got to look at Manchester United's European experience. The fact that we've been to, this is our fourth final in 3 years. We're used to this sort of thing. I think it has to be United, surely, doesn't it? We are through to the final, and Adam has to have a dig at Erik ten Hag, and Rasmus got to get somewhere. Where have you been, Dale? That was bleeding ages ago. You playing catch-up? Shut up. Moaning. Of course, I'm having a dig at Ten Hag. He's the problem that caused all of this with these players. And yes, Rasmus Højlund isn't good enough. Sit down, cabbage head. We struggle unlocking EPL defences because they are better organised than in most European leagues. I don't know. I'd probably leave Højlund out and play with a false 9 rather than play with 10 men. Yeah, that is Rasmus Højlund summed up right there. Again, I think it's down to Ruben. I think he'll be overthinking things a little bit with having so much time before the final. That's another worry as well with Ruben. Like, is he going to overthink it? I think it's quite clear for everybody what the team is. Worst case scenario is Rasmus is in front of 2 better number 10s. That's it. It should take care of itself, this team, going into the final. English refs and VAR screwed us over plenty this season. Continental refereeing is different. Just must think we can have a soft touch and fall over, play to the whistle. Yeah, it won't be like a Premier League game because of the officiating. I mean, some of the decisions from VAR in the European competitions over the last few weeks have been absolutely crazy. And you've always got that chance. You've always got that chance that the final could be ruined by a continental ref as well. For just, I think, looking at it surely you would get an experienced referee and who knows the history of the Premier League, knows that this is 2 Premier League clubs, does the research. I'm sure they will, and I'm sure the European refs would have done the research and know when to let certain things go. We don't want a referee ruining the final, like a red card or something stupid like that from VAR. That's the last thing that we need, but still, I think it will feel a little bit different to a Premier League game because of that. 100% agree with that. London, thank you for gifting the membership, and Ant has taken that one. Cheers very much, mate. What else have we got in there as well? Yeah, we covered all of the super chats in there. I think Stephanie's just put a point in there regarding how ironic it is with Jadon Sancho and Anthony both in that Conference League final as well. Anthony last night adding more value with another absolute belter of a goal past De Gea and an assist. His numbers are ridiculous. He literally is now close to matching his Manchester United record in just 5 months at Betis, and that in goals and assists. Absolutely phenomenal season for Anthony, and Manchester United must be rubbing their hands together right now. So Jim Radcliffe, the Glazers, whoever at the top of Manchester United must be looking at Anthony and gone, whoa, we so dodged a bullet with Anthony. The value on him right now and what he has done for Real Betis this season. If he wins them a trophy, and it would be great, wouldn't it? Betis beat Chelsea in the final. Anthony scores the winner against the Premier League side, just to cement his legendary status at Betis, and then they lose him because Atletico come in and buy him and give United the actual value instead of the crap that we were talking about yesterday and Real Betis wanting to take him on loan again. I'm sorry, Anthony's going to be sold this summer. His performances, and as happy as Betis probably are right now, they're probably thinking, God, if he keeps on playing like this, we've got no chance of keeping him. this summer. But yes, Anthony, a big part of Betis getting through to their final last night, so they can fully concentrate on La Liga now, and Manchester United will get value from him. Again, Jadon Sancho hasn't performed bad in the Conference League either for Chelsea, and Maresca looking likely to keep hold of Jadon Sancho as well. Two stories there that have worked out the way that we wanted them to for Manchester United, and when you look at it there, you've got to at least be getting 40 million from Anthony now. He's now valued, I think, or his value must be between 40 and 50 million now for Manchester United. I don't think anybody would think United were asking for too much if we went 50 million this summer for Anthony. His value is right up there. Betis have got no chance of getting him on loan again. Absolutely no chance. Unless they commit to a obligation to buy at the end of next season, there's no chance. And that obligation is at least 50 million for Manchester United. And everything is paid with a loan fee. Look, they've got no chance because they're going to not be able to afford him again next summer. And for them to loan him and say, we're just going to hand him back, it's not going to happen. United will cash in this summer. I think Betis will lose out. They're going to have to get their hand in the pocket. It's going to be a mad one, a mad scramble for Anthony at the end of the season. Again, it's all just worked out nicely for United. Can you imagine? United pick up a trophy. We get into the Champions League. Anthony and Sancho have played blinders and got Manchester United money at the end of it. Marcus Rashford's got what he deserved, basically, and gets another football club somewhere else, doesn't get Barcelona. Even if he goes to Barcelona, I'm not bothered. Good luck to him there. But them three players at the end of this season, with United bagging the Champions League as well, from where we was, can you imagine, like, going through December, that bad spell of form, all of the negativity around Rashford, Amorim, United's league form, being smashed by everybody, Garnacho fallout, Rashford fallout. Can you, if you'd have said to me that we got to beat Spurs on the last game to get into the Champions League, Anthony had broken all sorts of records at Betis and was worth 50 million. Sancho was definitely staying at Chelsea and Rashford was going to Barcelona. I'd have said, you must be off your head. You must be off your head. I'd snatch your hand off for that right now. That's what I would have done. But look, that's how our season could be panning out. And it's good. What a way to finish. Hopefully, I'm not wrong with that, and hopefully that does pan out that way. Please give the video a like, everybody, if you're buzzing. Let's see if we can get them likes up over 300 while live, everyone. A couple more comments before we finish off as well, so get your comments coming in, people. Make sure that you have that subscribe button as well, everyone. And of course, make sure that you do download your Match Bingo card ready for the West Ham game this season. Match Bingo, obviously, our match day sponsors going into the West Ham game. I'm going to drop the link in the description, actually, and I'm going to drop it into the live chat again now for everybody, just so you've got it there. I'll pin it up there as well, so you have got your link directly there. If you go through there, new members obviously get an extra £10 when you deposit £5 as well. Join us this weekend for the match against West Ham, playing on Match Bingo, and be part of the many others that have already won quite a bit of money through Match Bingo here on Forever United TV. So again, thank you to them. Let's get a few more comments in. Ant says, he's talking to someone else. Calling Fred a sweetheart. See, this is what Manchester United doing well actually brings. It brings a good vibe and a good atmosphere to the chat. I'll tell you what, though, if I win, I am throwing the biggest goddamn party at my new villa in Spain. Flights and hotels all paid for. There you go. Ant's taking us all over to his villa in Spain if United win. Spurs have beaten us a few times already due to poor management. Erik ten Hag, new management, Ruben Amorim, and whilst he was figuring out how to use these players, and now we all know what we have, it's a different game, says Markash. Yes, I agree with that one. This isn't like the games like we had the goalkeeping catastrophe against Spurs in the away game. Spurs blew Ten Hag away and that United side earlier on in the season. We were just completely dead at that point. And then the 1-0 win, honestly, it was probably the worst game I've watched in the Premier League this season between United and Spurs. It was absolutely awful. But the Europa League final is going to be a different ball game altogether. And that finishes our show, everybody. Bit of a jubilant one. We'll be back with all of the normal shows and news coming up throughout the rest of the day. I'll have you covered. If anything breaks halfway through the day, we'll probably be updating you around about 12:30, 1 o'clock. But we are back live this evening as well at the normal slots of 6:30. So make sure that you're there for that one as well, everybody, later on. But for now, thank you, mods. Great job in the chat, as always. Thank you, everybody who donated, super chats and memberships. Welcome along if you are new to the channel as well and I've just subscribed. This is Forever United TV. Have a fantastic day, Reds. Enjoy your Friday in the sun. United are in another final. Come on, United.